If you've ever want to play the Stanley Parable but are broke like I am, this is the perfect
fun,
game
short,
for you.
Stanley
There's a lot of
Parable,
weird stuff
funny
to do and
humor. I
discover
like
as
this
you play
creative
very
and
much.
many characters
Although
love
the
interacting
interactive
with
friendly
dialogue
and
doodles to
everything
discover.
annoying
But after
for
having
real.
played
Short
the
aside-
Help.
Why am I not playing the Stanley Parable? Because I'm low budget, Circle.
Oh no.
Upon loading up the game, I was faced with genuine curiosity as to who this was, as well as awarded 2 hard-earned achievements. Which actually reminds me, we did such a good job getting achievements last time. Why don't we do it again? How many could there even be? Upon loading into the actual game, we find ourselves in an elevator with some signs pointing out some basic controls and an insult on your mother's nutritional status. Immediately after exiting the elevator, we enter a hallway with a few intriguing doors on both sides that actually have no interactions. At the end of the hallway, we come into a room where a voice greets us saying that we must be here for some sort of interview.
Hi, you must be here for the interview.
We then proceed to wait for said interview in this room where we notice a casual arsenal in the reception desk and have a usual conversation with the printer before emptying the nuclear warhead from our pockets and proceeding to meet the faceless interviewer. The path to his office wasn't uneventful in the slightest. Shortly after entering this long hallway, we got to show off our parkour skills and meet a street-performing toilet where we filled a donation skill check. After receiving our insult from the toilet, we continue on our way where we find a tempting big red button. In the next room, there's a suggestion about not going any further, or something. I didn't really read it. Opening the final door revealed a beautiful flower that vanished the moment I took my eyes off it. Back in the main hallway, I passed a roulette table with a scary warning sign before pressing my next button. That button opened a segment of the wall, revealing another button. After that whole kerfuffle was over, we finally reached the interviewer's door.
Ah, there you are, right on time.
He begins by welcoming me to the interview before asking me what my biggest weakness is, to which I respond with honesty.
I don't think honesty is a weakness.
I then proceed to tell him that his opinion doesn't mean anything to me, likely upsetting him a bit.
Sure, point made. Not the best strategy, I would say, to curse at your interviewer during a job interview. But hey, that's just me. Maybe it works for you.
Tired of asking me questions, he opens the door to a museum with a bunch of boring displays, to include a chair that calls me racist, before we proceed to the IQ exam. The IQ exam was a piece of cake. It was a simple test of picking up a sword, using it as a cursor, and clicking items that apply to the statement listed above.
It's actually a tough one, the sample question, but no pressure. Great. Seven out of 10, above average.
After finishing the exam and receiving our above average score and IQ,
140, not bad at all. You've actually done really well here. Oh.
We continued our interview by following the tunnel leading into the floor below us. Shortly into the tunnel, we were told to pick our favorite color, where a mirror would then explain what that said about us. At the end of the tunnel, we find a teleporter.
That there is a teleporter.
It doesn't seem like much for now, but ends up playing a pretty big role later on. For now though, the teleporter just transported us to another room.
Like plane tickets, let's just figure out where we are first. Huh.
Upon finishing that side quest, we advanced to the achievement corridor.
Ah, the achievement corridor.
Almost immediately upon entering the corridor, I was faced with my biggest challenge yet.
You press it, you'll lock yourself out of a certain achievement forever. But don't worry, if you leave it alone, you'll get the achievement normally later on.
I am not over-exaggerating when I say I spent hours, days, weeks even, pacing back and forth trying to figure out what to do.
If you're waiting for the perfect moment to press it, I can assure you that moment does not exist.
Eventually, after almost forgetting who I even was, an unseeable force beckoned me towards the stairs, leaving a button untouched for the first time since launching this game. Fortunately though, my next button was right around the corner. In the next room, we were faced with our next challenge, trying to determine if this woman should choose the chicken or tomato soup. This, for the first time since starting this journey, was an actual dilemma. Given the choice, would you divert the trolley from killing 10 people in order would you make the decision to push a very large, obese person? The basic question of ethics. The choice to save the many and spare. Is that a baby? I ended up choosing chicken soup over tomato soup despite liking tomato soup better. I don't know, they're both good. Our next dilemma was about a guy who hacked into every nuclear arsenal on the planet. We're given the choice for him to either press a button launching all the nukes or to not press the button. Shortly after that, we find ourselves trapped in a room with Breadbot, who gives us some financial advice. Before moving after receiving some bread. Once he's out of the way, we make our way to the confession booth where we aren't actually the ones confessing.
Alright, look, I think it's time I come clean about something.
We end up jumping back in time to a brief backstory where he tells us we actually died when we entered the teleporter earlier. It doesn't take us long to turn around and completely ignore him, earning our first achievement since launching the game a few weeks ago. After waking up from the flashback and now being fully aware that we were just some clone of a deceased individual, the interview continued as normal. Our next exam was a matter of spotting the differences in a room below us, where we did good enough to consider having no memory impairments. Immediately after that, we were instructed to count sheep, something I unfortunately had very little practice in, but excelled at nonetheless.
Correct. You must be an expert falling asleep.
That was the last exam we had to endure, but on our way to receive the results, a wall slammed down in front of us, redirecting us down another hallway. This new hallway led us to a room that had what was called the reflector, a mirror that would supposedly show you yourself in the future. The mirror turned out to be a phony, as it just spouted nonsense for a very long time before giving us another achievement. The rest of the game was a bit weird. We ended up playing rock, paper, scissors with some weeb, decided not to press the button that would erase time and bring our original self back to life.
Candidate, what have you done?
And for some reason, we stepped into another portal, as directed by the interviewer.
Oh, don't worry, this teleport doesn't work like the others. It uses wormhole technology or something. I'm pretty sure it's safe.
And after all that, we were awarded our 5th achievement. And that's all I actually have the patience for. So if you want to see more, please subscribe.